Begin in a standing position. Take a small step back with your right leg. Place hands on hips with indexes pointed forward and turn your hips to the side. Drop your back heel, bend your knees as necessary. Hands on hips are meant to emphasize the direction that the hips are pointed in. Lift the back heel, turn the hips to face front. And again, hips to the side. Hips point front. And last time, hips to the side. Hips point front. Step forward with your right leg and back with your left. Hips turn to the left. Hips face front. Hips face the side. Hips face front. Last one, hips face the side and hips face front. Step forward with your left leg. Step back with your right leg a little bit further this time and place the foot at a 45-degree angle. Foot in full contact with the ground, back leg straight, front leg bent, hips face forward, lift arms overhead, Warrior One. You may want to explore your Warrior One stance by stepping back a little bit and then going through that checklist again. Foot completely in contact with the ground, back leg straight, hips point forward, which might mean moving the right hip forward a bit, arms overhead. Front leg is bent. This is your Warrior One. If you can't do all of those things, then perhaps take a shorter step, and that will allow you to have your hips point forward. Step back a little bit now with the right leg and turn the hips to the side, arms parallel to the floor. Warrior Two. Back foot pointed out at a 90-degree angle from the front foot, back leg straight, front leg bent. Arms looking over the left hand. Feel free to experiment with your stance here as well, perhaps taking a slightly wider stance, seeing how that feels for you today. Lift the back heel, hips face forward, arms overhead. High lunge. Back leg straight, front leg bent. Straighten the front leg, turn the feet and the hips to the side, and fold over the hips, wide-legged forward fold. Your hands can go to your hips, or they can reach towards the ground, whatever is most comfortable for you today. Bend the knees slightly, roll the spine up to vertical. Turn to the right side, and take a little step forward with your left foot to find your Warrior One stance on this second side facing the new front. Foot in complete contact with the ground at a 45-degree angle. Straight back leg, hips face front, arms overhead, Warrior One. Front knee is bent. Perhaps you'd like to explore your Warrior One stance by stepping back a little bit and aiming to keep the hips face forward still. Transition to Warrior Two. Take a little bit of a more step back. Drop the heel out to the side, arms parallel to the floor, gaze looking out over the right hand. Back leg is straight, front leg is bent, and I invite you to explore your stance again. Maybe trying a little bit more narrow or a little bit more wide, and see how that feels in your body today. Lift the back heel off the ground, hips face forward, arms overhead, high lunge. Back leg is straight, front leg is bent. Straighten the front leg, turn the toes and the hips to the side, and fold forward. Wide-legged forward fold. Option to grab hold of the legs this time, anywhere, perhaps the thighs, the calves, ankles, or maybe even the feet. You're also welcome to let your hands land on the floor or remain on your hips, whatever works best for you today. Point the feet out At 45 degrees, bend the knees, lower the hips, and lift the torso upright. Cactus the arms, goddess pose. Aim to sink the hips down towards the ground and move the knees out towards the sides and the back. Lift the left heel up and down. Right heel up and down. Left heel up, and this time place the left knee on the ground. Hips face right. Find this 90-degree position with your legs. Right hand on lower back and hip. Left hand on the front knee. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Come back to center. Pivot on the left knee to turn the hips to the side once more. And step right leg out onto the side for this modified gate pose. Hands on hips or together in front of chest. And we'll do a balance challenge of lifting the back foot off of the ground. Find your balance here. Additional challenge, close your eyes. Open your eyes if they were closed, and drop your foot back down to the ground. Turn to the right and step the foot back into the 90-degree lunge position. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee off the ground, arms overhead, high lunge. Drop the back heel, turn hips to the side, goddess pose. Both knees are bent, arms in cactus position. And lift the right heel. Lower it down. Left heel up and down. Right heel up and lower the right knee underneath the hips onto the ground. Turn the hips to the left. Left hand on lower back, hip region. Right hand on front knee. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Return to face front. Pivot on the right knee to bring the foot behind and knees facing the side. Step the left foot out. Modified gait, hands on hips or together in front of chest. Lift the back foot up off the ground. Find your balance pose. Option and challenge to close your eyes. Open your eyes if they were closed. Lower your back foot down to the ground. Turn to the front, now the left, and find your 90-degree position here with the legs. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee off the ground, arms overhead, high lunge. Weight into the left foot. Step forward with the right. Lower the arms either side of the body. Take a deep breath here. And exhale. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward and down. Hands on shins, inhale halfway up. Plant the hands either side of the legs. Exhale, step back to a plank position. Inhale and plank. Exhale, lower all the way down to the ground or to hover. Inhale, press hands into the ground under shoulders. Back bend of choice, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, hips up, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Perhaps walking out. The heels bending one knee at a time, driving the heel to the ground. increasing the stretch in the calf one side than the other. Find stillness and bend both knees, place them on the ground, untuck the toes, send hips towards heels, forehead to the mat, child's pose.